Okay, hello all. Good evening. Hope you're all doing well. And most of the students are having holidays going forward. So probably we can give more attention to this program. And again today, I see few students. Looks like most of the students have got the login and details. Read the mail completely, because after reading the mail, also students are asking where to log in, what's the URL, everything is given in the mail. So just read the mail completely, step by step, line by line. Okay. Then second thing is, for people who haven't got the email login yet, what you have to do is go, there will there will be a form, access now today. There is no feedback form. Today's form is, if you haven't got access, fill this form for getting access. No need of feedback today. Just people who haven't got access have to be filling. So others don't need to fill feedback today. Hopefully you are all able to log in and understand how to get, let me share my screen once again, how to log into it. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so your user ID and then password, you log into it. Once you log into, you will be going to this dashboard. Slowly this dashboard also will change for you. Your live sessions and those videos will be in this place. So you can click on it. You will be having day 1, day 2, day 3 videos in this. Every day there will be the videos posted. And next, you can go to your C-Labs. All your C-Labs related problems will be posted here. So you click on this, click on the program to find sum of elements. Slowly after sir tells. So you will have to go to test activity. In test activity, there is edit. You will not be having exact same menu, but you will have test activity, you will have edit. Remaining all will not be same, because I'm an admin, I have many other options. For you, test activity and then click on edit. Here is where you have to type your program. After you type your program, you have to run. Okay, this is run and it runs. Okay, now it is 2 numbers, right? I'm typing 2 numbers, addition, 10, 20, 2 numbers. I'm giving scanf means read 2 numbers. It is reading 2 numbers. Printf means it will display to us the total. 10 plus 20 equal to 30 is what I asked to display. So 10 plus 20 is equal to 30 is what I asked to display. It is displaying. Okay. This is how you have to do. Say for example, you have an error. Say I remove the semicolon. Semicolon is very essential. Sir has said yesterday. So I remove it. Now I remove it and run it. Okay. Now I run it. What does it say? If I run it, here it is giving error. Expected semicolon before printf. It is giving an error. Okay. So this is how you will have to check what is the error. And moreover, even if you are able to run it, because there is no syntax error, you might have done some other mistake, like the logical error. Say here what you are saying, sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Say I just say number 1. It is an error. When I run this, it will still run. It won't show error because there is no syntax error. It will still show. But what is the problem? The problem is with your logic, not with the program. So 10 and 20, it will give 10 plus 20 equal to 10, because I removed number 2 in the sum. This is a logical error. So what happens is, after sir gives you test, you have to save, you have to run, and you have to execute it to see whether your sum is correct or not, because that is where sir has given your program, your test cases. It's called test cases. After you evaluate, it then will come to, okay, now I'll run my test cases. sir will give certain test cases. Okay, what is it saying? Failed test. You have failed, and because incorrect program output. You said 10-20 should result in 30. It is not giving me. So there is on one side program errors related to syntax. On the other side, errors related to your logic. Both the errors you have to see. Save, run, and this is your test cases. These three you have to run and see there are no errors before you submit. Okay. This is what it is. Simply, I won't tell you all the features in this. I will take you step by step. That is because otherwise you will be confused. Okay. So that is about this program. So today we have a guest from Infosys, Mr. Rajesh, who is a project manager. So as we have every day, we have a guest from the industry who will be explaining to you what project. Today the topic is he will explain to you what project it is that they are doing. Say for example, you all might have booked ticket in IRCTC. Somebody like you has done that project. So every software engineer in different organizations do certain projects. So Rajesh sir is project manager in Infosys, a very renowned person because he has a lot of interest in speaking to students. He goes to colleges, he speaks to them, encourages them, make them understand how projects are. So today he is here. Thank you, Rajesh, for agreeing to speak to the students. So over to you. You can speak to the students and explain what is it actually you do in your everyday work as project manager in this project.
Okay, thank you. Hope you can hear me and see me on the screen.
Yes.
Can you confirm if I'm audible? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Hi all. Good evening, and thanks for the joining this session. To get started, I am a project manager at Infosys, and I handle a few projects for different clients based out of different geographies. And
Rajesh, you are not visible. Your video is off.
Okay, I switched it off. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what actually we mean by a project here, when I say as a project manager and all, is like just like when we started with writing a program that ma'am was showing to you on the C language, right? So multiple programs may be working together to achieve a business objective by a client. And as the example was provided, like similar to IRCTC, let's say that if 100,000, which means like 1 lakh people are trying to book ticket on the same train, and you know how it happens on Tatkal booking, right? So who should get first the ticket? How is that number of concurrent users have to be managed? All this is on the technical front, and this is what the based on the technological capabilities of the software that you're using and the ability of the system that you design to handle the number of requests, which we call it as load. Based on that, the business objective of the end user will be achieved. So this is more at a very high level. You may find it a bit difficult to understand, but when many components of the project and that has been developed, and then they work together in one unit, then that's when you find the result working. It's as simple as you taking money from an ATM and then you get an SMS on your mobile saying that this is your new balance. It's as simple as it looks for the customer, but behind the scenes it is more number of many more programs like the one we just started with the C program of adding this. The a new balance that you find on your mobile SMS itself is a small arithmetic program which will help you get you the new balance after deducting the amount that you took away from the ATM. So that's how it will look from the customer point of view. In the back end, from the technical point of view, it will be much more complicated with respect to the rule of the land, where the organization operates, the regulations, and so on. So that's in short from my side. Any specific details, ma'am, that you want to ponder upon?
Yes. So just wanted to understand how important is C, because these people are all in the first year. Obviously, they have to learn C, but over a period of time, is it still relevant? You think when they go to jobs and all, is it still relevant, this learning?
Okay. So at this point, my suggestion would be not to think whether this language itself is relevant or not. Whether you will use it in your lifetime or not after your college, it's a different story. What you would like to learn, what I would suggest is to try to understand how logic is being implemented with respect to a language. Today it might be Python, very much in demand. Tomorrow it may be some other language. Whichever language one has to learn, the basic logic will be the same. It is only the syntax or the way of implementation that will change. Uh, when I joined as a fresher in an organization after the college, obviously all of us learned C and C++ in our colleges. Uh, the only thing my manager told me was don't really focus on the language specifics. Think about the business logic. It is the same if conditions in any language. It can be just a for loop or a do while loop that might be changing in syntax. It is only the if conditions. How you implement the business logic is the most important thing. So this is a starting point. If you don't learn C, then in some other language you have to learn. But wherever you go, the logic implementation is the same. This is a starting point which will help you to understand how logic implementation is done.
Another question on behalf of the students, Rajesh. So, how far are emerging technologies like artificial intelligence or machine learning, all these new technologies being implemented? So, what does future looks like for these technologies?
Definitely, it's not a new technology as such. AI was there since my college days before, and then only thing is that we now have the computing power. Earlier, the computing power was not there. Currently, we have the computing power. So that's the reason why these new technologies are being these technologies, not new technologies. These technologies are coming into picture now in more demand. Even I did my machine learning program, and then in my college days, and then we presented it into a IIT conference, international conference. Back then, it was named with different things. It was never called as machine learning. Some people used to call it as fuzzy technology, fuzzy logic, and all. But it is the same algorithm that we invented. So it's relatively not a new technology. It's the only thing that because of the more computing power that is available now, they will be more in demand. All the scenarios which didn't get this kind of capability earlier, they will be using this AI and ML and other flavors of AI, so that they'll try to get more benefit from the existing systems that each of the business have.
Okay, super. Thank you so much for agreeing on such a short notice, Rajesh. Thanks
No
so
problem.
much. So over to you, Swaroop, for taking the class.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Anuradha. Thank you. So how might just ask everyone. So, how was yesterday's session? Was it is interesting to know what is post increment, what is pre increment test? You have skill test, right? So, how many people got interested with that one? Quick comments on that. So yesterday we have talked about, what is SDK, what is IDE, what is a compiler, what is a preprocessor, what is an assembler, what is a linker. We talked about simulator, we talked about emulator. And then we have gone with some questions on increment, post increment, pre-increment, how the structure of this thing, precedence rules, all this thing we have seen. After that, we have gone with the if conditions, right? What is if else, what is if else nested, all this thing we have done. So yesterday we have done one small, so everything we have done with a small program, right? So let's share my screen. So let's start with today's session. So today we are going to see some more selection cases, okay? So yesterday we have seen this one, what you say, simple if program. So what exactly the nested if, and then only one if is there, what is if else is there, what if else, these are the nested programs. Did anyone try it inside going home or kind of stuff? Did you able to check what exactly it is, the functionality of scanf, the printf, the semicolon? See, the semicolon is not there. What will happen if you put a semicolon here? All this thing has to be done by you people. That is how the programming has to be learned. You have to do some little bit of experiment by yourself. Okay. So let's go with some more selection structures. Okay. We have some more selection structures. We call it switch. We call it switch. Okay. Switch is also one of the keywords in C program. Okay. So what exactly a switch is? A multiple selection structure is useful when an algorithm contains a series of decisions in which a variable or expression is tested separately for several possible integral values. For example, if I want to say that you have multiple options, right? For example, you're going to take one example that you have 7 to 8 choices are there, right? One is door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, or door number 4, like that. Okay. If you are selecting one door, that is 3. If you're selecting these doors are having a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the number of doors. If you select 5, you will go into 5. So you go into 5 and you come out, right? These are the selections. So when we're using switch conditions, we only have a condition to go into that particular room and come out. Okay. So these are number dependent. So switch case are basically integrated. The variable value, the integral value, depend upon this integral value, we're going to check the condition and come out. Okay. So we have some algorithms on that. Let's see one example. What is the syntax for switch case? So switch and case, these two are the keywords of the C keywords program. Okay. See, switch integral expression, which is we have to test it. Then see the syntax. It is case. It is case. Okay. So case. What is a case condition? You check it, you do the action, and you come out. Only this, if you're selecting one, this condition will come true. Then you come out of the loop. You're not going to run all other 3 conditions. So this is called switch condition. So this is the syntax of a switch. Switch the integral value which you're going to check it. Then flower bracket, case, you write the value. Then you do the C here, colon is used. Here, the colon is used, not semicolon. It is in case. C, case. Break is also one of the keywords of C programming. So you can see now by day, we are checking all the keywords of a C program. So we have in this program itself, we have 3 keywords of C programming called switch, case, and break. Okay. So these are the cases for the switch. Okay. So switch is a control expression where we have only integers value will be stored. Okay. Only integer value will be there. The case is a label which is be terminated by colon, and break is a key, is a statement which make the program to stop there and come out of the loop. Okay, it is going to come out of the loop, and flower brackets are the in which you have to write the case conditions. Okay, so these are about switch conditions. In later program, we're going to see what is the switch cases. So these are nothing but these things are called, the switch, the if are called selection structures. Hope you people understood. Is my voice is audible? Whether you want to raise the voice, is the voice to everything is okay?
It is audible.
No, I mean whether the voice is low or it is enough for the session. Some people are typing it is low. That's it. So we are going to the next section, next structure we're going to check is repetition. So we have a case where we want to run a program multiple times. We want to run a program multiple times. But for example, we have a program which can be, we have to run the program for multiple times. Like if you want to increment a value for 110 times, or you want to print a value for 100 times. So you every time you don't go and say print 1, again you have to go into say print 2, print 3, print 4, all this, you can't do all this thing every time. For 1 to 10, okay, you can do basically, but if you want to print it 100 times, or 1,000 times, or 2,000 times, what are we going to do? So we have to repeat the same program for multiple number of times. So then we use repetition structures. Okay, these repetition structures we see one by one. Okay, repetition structure are used to repeat a statement or block of code. Repeat the code multiple times. Okay, the decision whether to repeat the code is based on logical expression. So these expressions, the logical expressions, are very important to check whether you want to execute the code or not. So if the expression is true, the code is executed. If the expression is false, the code is not executed. So how many lines you're going to usually we have for loop and while or do while loops. Okay. Someone is asking whether to type get ch. If you're using stdio.h and stdio.lib.h, you don't have to put get ch. Okay. So let's talk about the concept now. The remaining functions we're going to talk. So we are going to check what are this for loop and what are while and do while loops. Okay. For both for loop and while loop are top tested loops. Means what is top tested loop? This means before you want any program to execute multiple times, before that only you have to check the condition. Logical condition you have to check before that. So that is called top tested loop. If the test is true, then only you're going to execute that thing. Whereas do while loop will first run the condition. If it is true, in bottom, if it is true, then it will repeat one more time. For loop, even to run for one time, it has to satisfy the condition. Whereas the do while loop, first condition will be first the loop will execute, then it will check whether the loop has to be executed again or not. So that is a do while is called bottom test loop. For and while are top test loops. Okay. Okay, so this is the example of a while loop. So while, you have to give the logical expression and then the statement. This can be written like this, or it can be also be written like this. Okay. While logical expression is to print the statement. So this is logic. This is the syntax of a while loop. Okay. So this is while loop. Then we are going to see the expression for loop. We are going to check the syntax of a for loop. See, it is very much similar to while loop, but the only difference is that you are checking three expressions here. So what are these three expressions? For, see, we are not using any semicolon here. We are not using any semicolon for the for loop. So the semicolon are used inside. So this is first expression, then expression 2, expression 3. After that, the statement will be executed. So what exactly these expressions are? The expression 1 is the initial condition, where you're going to initialize the initial condition. Then, so this is anything you're going to, it is the initial condition of any variable or any other condition which we're going to check. Basically, it is a mathematical expression we're going to check. Okay. Then expression 2 is a logic. If it is the logic is true, then you go for the loop. Okay. First one expression is nothing but you are checking for the you are checking initial you are initializing the condition. You are setting the initial condition. Then the expression 2 will give you is the statement where you're going to check the logic. Okay. So that is expression 2. Expression 3 So expression 3 define change to the condition. So after execution of this code, of if it is satisfying expression 2, what next step has to be taken? What will happen to that expression, the initial value? What will happen to the initial? What is the happen to the initial condition? So that is called defining. What is the change? Defining the change. So that is done in expression number 3. Okay, so the expression 1 is initial condition, expression 2 is a logical condition we're going to check, and expression 3 is a what is the step we're going to do after the execution of this code to the expression initial value. Okay. So before, what are the expressions in for loop? For any expression, expression 1, expression 2, expression can be eliminated, but the semicolon must be used. If you're using a for loop, it is very important for you to, if you're using for loop, if you're not putting expression 1 or expression 2 or expression 3, you're not putting anything. But if you're using for loop, you definitely have to use semicolons in between. Like, so for so we can write like this. So this is valid. If you don't have an expression, this is valid. Okay. Now, if you eliminate expression 1 and expression 3, will cause if your expression 1 is not there, expression 3 is not there, the for loop is going to work very similar to while loop. What exactly the while loop structure? We have in a while loop, we are only checking the condition whether to run the code or not. So in for loop, the second expression is nothing but checking the logical condition. If that is true, it will work. So if, for example, in for loop, the first expression and third expression are not given and only second expression is given, then we are going to, the code will going to work very much similar to while loop. We are going to do the programming. First, we have to understand the things. We're going to do the programming for these things. We're going to give the example for that one. But before that, what are the conditions you have to do? We have to understand that, right? So we are explaining that thing. If you eliminate expression 2, if you eliminate the expression 2, the program will work continuously without any break. If you want to terminate thing, you have to use either break or exit statement to come out of that loop. Okay, so you understand, even though for loop, if no expression is given, it's fine. Means if your expression 2 is not given, the program will going to run infinitely. To come out of it, we have to use break. So break and exit are also one of the C keywords. Okay, what are the important statements that are there? Those are called keywords in C programming. So expression 2 is definitely very important if you want to run the program for at least for certain period of time. So that is a condition where you're going to check that true or false condition. Okay. So let's see the example of a for loop. Okay, hash include. So we are writing a program. Hash include std.h int main. We are defining k and we are saying we have a variable integer type of variable which is k and n. Okay. So here, what exactly we are doing here? This expression, this first one is expression 1. So we are giving initial value for k and initial value of n. That is k is equal to 1 and n is equal to 12. Okay, k is equal to 1, n is equal to 12. So that is the expression 1, which is the initializing of the expression. Now we are checking a logical. The expression 2 will give the logic. If this logic is true, then this statement will be printed. Otherwise, it will not be printed. So if k is less than 9 and it is AND operation. We talked about AND operation, right? Logical operators. When we talked about logical operators, we talked about AND operation. If AND is there, this means if this has to be true and this has to be true, then only this program, this line will be executed. Then only this line will be executed. If k is less than 9 and n is greater than 6, then only the k value and n value will be printed. Okay. So this is expression 2. See here the semicolon. After expression 1, there is a semicolon. After expression 2, there is a semicolon. Then the third expression comes. So what exactly this third expression is saying? It is telling what will happen, what we have to do with this variable after this code is executed. So what we are saying here, after this condition is true, this statement is printed. We have to increment the value of k by 1 and decrement the value of n by n minus 1. Okay. So till when these values will be printed? What are the values which will be printed? Can anyone write what is the values which can be printed here? Please try. So initial value is 1 for k and n value is 12. So till when these values will be printed? What are the values which will be printed here? See this AND, this is called logical operator. This means both this one and this one should be true. Then only this program will be executed. If instead of this thing, if you put OR operator, it means either one is true, then this operator will be, this statement will be printed. Okay. So how many values it will be printed here? See, first initial 1. So 1 is less than 9. 1 is less than 9, right? It is true. This statement is true. Then n is equal to 12. N is greater than 6. So the value will be printed 1 and 12. First it will printed. After that, after the statement is printed, then the k value will incremented by 1. Now the k value will become 2 and n is decremented. Now the n value is decremented by 1. So then now the n value become 11. Even now k is less than, so k become 2. So 2 is less than 9. So 2 will be printed and n is 11, which is greater than 6. So now the next line, the value will be printed is 2 comma 11 will be printed. Now after this statement is true, it will again increment the k value. Now the k value become 3 and n value will be decremented by one more value, which is 10. Okay, till when it will be done? Till k value is, so it will be printed. So all the values of k and n will be printed till the k value will become 9 and n value become 6. So all the values of 1 k value till 8 will be printed and n value till 6 will be printed. Till 5 will be till 7 will be printed. So this is how. So you are printing the value we are printing the value of k and n by using the logic of this thing, and we are incrementing here. So all this operation, the initialization of the variable, the condition checking, and the incremental is taking care in a single statement, that is for loop. It is very important, very important in C programming. C programming is very important structure is for loop. It is very important. If you want me to repeat, I will repeat it. Please understand, for loop is very important. Please let me know if everyone is okay. Do you want me to proceed, or do just I'm checking the chat? See, k value is greater than, k should be less than 9. It is not equal to 9, greater than or equal to 9. We are not using that. That's why it will be print only up to 8 only it will print. So k is incremented till, so it will be true only till 8 only. After that, the k value become 9, which is not greater than 9. So that's why that value will not be printed. So k will be printed from 1 to 8 and n will be printed from 12 to 7. Okay. So some people are asking to repeat. So I'm saying, please listen. This is for loop. This is the syntax in which you have to write the for loop. The first expression, this is the expression where you are declaring the values of x and n. So x we are going 1 or n is equal to 12. Okay. This program can be easily be written, can be written like this also. This program can be easily be written like this. Main so equal to, we say int k is equal to 1 comma n is equal to 12. N is equal to 12. And we're saying while k is greater than, we are saying what is k? K is greater than 9 and n value six. Then printf percentile d percentile d percentile d k semicolon. Okay, so for program which we have written previously, what you have seen, it is very much similar to this one. And after this program, after this line, we are saying k plus plus and n. We are saying k plus plus. We are saying k plus plus semicolon n minus minus semicolon. So instead of writing all these, we are writing for loop, which is k is equal to 1, n is equal to 12, semicolon. Equal to 9 and greater than 12. Semicolon k plus plus and minus minus. So this total program, these are the number of lines you have seen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these lines are written in a single for loop. Okay, it's clear? Yeah, this 6. I'm just saying how exactly it can be written. Okay, hope you understand. So what this is, what the value of, so this is the use of for loop. Okay, now everyone is clear? So now tell what will be the output of this thing. Skill check. Fast. The structure of C here, after for loop, it has to be flower brackets only. Please understand, it is a flower brackets only. It is a statement, so it has to be written in the flower brackets itself. All the execution what you want to do has to be done in the flower brackets only. Now tell me what was the output? 0 to 4. Okay. Okay. So before checking the answer, let's do by ourselves. Let's do one by one what exactly we're going to do. See, first the I value is 0. And what is the condition? We are initializing. So for loop, we are saying I should be 0. So we are initializing the I value. Okay. Now we are saying the condition what we are saying is I should be less than 5 is the condition. If this is true, then we have to print this statement. And after that, we are saying I plus plus. Is what? After this statement is true, we have to increment the value of I. Okay. So till when it will be true? Till 4. If I value from 0 to 4, the input, the value of it will be 0 till 4. This is true. So it will print from 0 to 4. It will print. Okay. If it is not true, then it will print 5, right? So this statement is, when it is true, it is going to print like this. If it is I value is incremented, right? After this program, the I value is incremented, then only you're checking it is not true. So when it is not true, it will print 5. So let's check whether I am right or wrong. Okay. So this is the value. But I am also wrong. Why I am wrong? Because I have put semicolon here. See, I have kept semicolon here. If I have not kept the semicolon here, the program will print 0 to 5. But when I kept semicolon here, the I value will increment till 5. Then only this will execute, and then this value will be executed. Got? So see, this is how tricky a program can be. If you just put semicolon for loop, it will, the resultant is totally gone. Now remove semicolon, the resultant will be 0 to, it will print 0 to 5. It will do. So first I value will be 0, I value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, then this statement will be executed. But when we have kept semicolon here, it will increment till 5, and after that only, till then it will be rotating in this loop itself. Then the I value, when it is become 5, it is not true, it will print this one, then it will print this one. See, I'm repeating again. See, if we are not kept we have not kept semicolon here, then whatever the program we have talked about 0 to 4 and then 5 will be printed. That is true. But we have kept semicolon here. So when it is semicolon he is kept here, the loop will rotate here only. It will not go to next one till this condition become false. Okay, till this condition become false. When this condition become false, when it is the I value is greater than 5, then only it will become true. So that's why it is printing one time 5, another time also 5. So that is the reason. Is it clear, everyone? Good. Now tell what is the value of, what will be the value now? Say the program perfectly and tell me. See, the logic here is we are initializing, the first expression is giving the initialization, then we are checking If I is less than 5, then print this statement. Then after this statement, after the statement, the expression 3 will, what will be the increment? We are going to increment the I value. So next time 2 will come. Instead of 0, the 1 is come. If 1 comes, so 1 is less than 5, so it will print 1. Then once the statement is printed, then the I value become 2, which is also less than 5, it will print 2. Then it will increment by 3. Then it will check whether it is less than 5. It is less than 5. So it will print 3. Then it will be incremented to 4. It will check whether it is less than 5. Yes, it is less than 5. It will print 4. After that, it will be incremented to 5. 5, so we are not saying I is equal to or greater than, I should be less than equal to. We are not saying equal to. We are saying I should be less than 5. So 5 is not less than 5. So it will come out of this loop and it will print this statement, which is I. Well, I value is already 5. So it will print 5. So what is the output here? The output will be I0 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clear? Everyone is clear? Good. Now we go for another section. Now let's do one more change. Instead of post increment, now I want to do pre-increment. We have changed the program from post increment to pre-increment. Now what will be the value? Now what will be the value? How many people say it will not change? How many people say it will change? Just raise, just tell. Why the value of 2 become, why the value of I become 2? Because we are incrementing here, right? So that's why it is increment, it is converted to 2. Then it will 3 till 4. So what is the output? Let's see the output. Because there will be no change in the output, because the post in and pre-increment is executing before the print itself. So that's why it is not going to affect anything. So output will be same. No changes will, no difference in the output. Okay. So how many people have understood for loop, if else loop, or do while loop? Everyone understood? What will be the change if we use do while loop? When the do while loop will come into picture? So I'm writing a program to check how to write a do while loop. Okay. Main semicolon. K comma M. So this is how we will do it. So is it clear, everyone? Okay. So let's go with some base, some initial value of pointers. Just a small introduction of the pointer. Detail about the pointer we're going to check later. So let's talk about pointers. Little bit about pointers. What is a pointer? See, when we say when we're saying we are the variable which we are defining, we are saying that int a is equal to a and int b and int c. So we are giving the values of a and b, right? So if we want to directly access the location where it is stored, at that time we use pointers. Okay, so pointer is a very important and main function, very main topic in C programming. I'm just going to give you the brief about that thing before going into arrays. It is very important. Please understand, just basic understanding. Later, more detail about pointer we're going to talk in a later session. So pointer, when we pointer definition is nothing but when a variable is declared. For example, int I is equal to 22 in a program, the space is reserved in memory for that variable. That is what we know, right? We know that when we are saying I is equal to 22, we are saying int I. So we are reserving a place with the name I. Okay, so that is called, the space is reserved with a variable I name. Okay, to be precise, each variable is assigned a particular memory location referred by its address. So it has some address, right? It has to be stored somewhere. So that address, so it is nothing but, so every variable having some address for that one. In some cases, the integer would be stored at specific location having the address. Say we are giving an example that it's the I value is stored in some location which is 100, which is 1000, okay, which is a hexadecimal value. The value of the memory is a hexadecimal value which is 1000. Okay, please understand, it is very we are saying very slowly. Just listen. Slowly you will understand what exactly it is. So we are declaring a variable with int. So we are saying that 4 bytes of data is reserved for int I with a name I, okay, which is having a memory location of some hexadecimal value. We are saying with the example 1000 is the address location. Okay, now see the variable I, we are storing the value is 22. The address is 100. Okay, the address location is 100, not the value is, the address location is 1000, not the content of, not the value of I. So value of I is 12, but it have an address of 1000. Okay, don't get confused with this one. It is very important. Please understand, we are talking about address only. We are not talking about the value of the variable. Okay. Now in C, it is possible. C has a very good feature, which is very important to understand. It is possible to manipulate the variable either by its name. If you want to change I value from 22, you can put next line I is equal to 24. The value will be changed. Or you can say I plus plus, the value will be changed. Or by address. Or by its address. Okay. It is very simple. Like your name is there in Aadhaar card. Okay. Right. You have Aadhaar number, right? Everyone having a Aadhaar number, right? If I want to change anything in your Aadhaar, for example, I want to change the surname of yours, either by your name or by your Aadhaar number. So your name is nothing but the variable name, and Aadhaar number which is there, which is nothing but your address. So I can access your data by using your Aadhaar number or by your name. Okay, by all those. So your data can be accessed either by giving your name or either by giving your Aadhaar number. So that is the that is the beauty of the C programming, is that we can access the content of the variable either by the name, or we can use your location. By using your location, the address, we can change it. So the address of variable stored in another variable we call this a pointer variable. Please note, it is very important. We're going to talk about it in later section, but it is very important to discuss it now because there is something related to it. We are going to talk about that thing. Yeah, we are going to talk about arrays. Before that, it is important to understand what is pointer. We are going to come to that. And a pointer can be therefore be defined as the variable that holds the address of another variable. So the pointer is a variable which holds the address of the variable. So pointer is another variable which holds the address of the variable. Okay, bit confusing, but understand. It is very important. The pointer is nothing but a variable which is holding the address of another variable. So now, see, with this example, you can understand what we are declaring and initializing the value. See, int I. So when we say int I, it means it is allocating 4 bytes of data, 4 bytes of memory in the memory location, right? When we are saying int star pointer to some variable, so this is the name of the pointer. This is the name of the pointer. So when we say star, it is a content of that pointer variable. Okay, we are saying I is equal to 22. We are saying I is equal to 22. So this pointer is nothing but address of I. This is pointer. This is the name of the pointer where we are storing the address of I. Okay. Now printf percentile the star pointer. So when we say star this variable, this means what is stored in this memory location will be the content of that thing will be available. So I is variable, I value is 22. This pointer to somewhere is a variable which is holding the address of I. And we want to access that address, access that content, then we say star that variable name. So that is called, so now the value which will be printed will be 22. It is star. The star means the content of that location where we have a variable. So that is 22. So we have now pointers or registers are not same. Pointer is a concept. Pointer is a variable where we are storing the address of one variable. Okay. So there are two operators called star and AND. are always written in front of a variable. If this one, the single and is written, that is indicating the address. And when we say star, it is indicating the content of that location. The content of that location. Okay. So one example to use of pointer in C input function, we are using scanf, right? So every time when we are saying scanf, we are saying int I. So we are saying percentile D, right? So we are giving address of that I. So what is stored in that address will be displayed, right? So this is a typical example of a pointer, right? So we are using star and I. Every time we use scanf, remember we are using a pointer. Okay, so we are reading the content of that location. So when we're scanning here, when we are scanning the variable, we are going to put whatever the input data we are scanning will be stored in this memory location of I. Okay, this memory location of I. We talk about this thing when we talk more about star pointer. So consider we have given int x, y, star pointer 1 and star pointer 2. We're going to talk about the pointers and everything, pointer program and everything in later classes. Not just understand basic understanding of pointers. We are just talking about pointers because we're going to deal with array, and array we are using this concept. That's why we are using pointer here. So pointer 1 will be holding the address of x. Okay, so pointer 1 is holding the address of x. Pointer 2 is holding the pointer of pointer 1. So now see, we have I value which is 22, so which having location. So when you say pointer 1, which is storing the address of I, which is 22, pointer 2 is also holding the address of I, because here it is also holding the address. So both our address are showing this thing, the value of that address. So a pointer is a bundle of information that has two parts. One part is address of the beginning of the segment of the memory. Okay, it will give the memory location. Second, it will going to talk about what is the value of that thing. So it tells the computer how much of memory after being read or how to interpret it. Okay. So these are the typical pointers value. Now we are going to talk about arrays. So Anuradha, do you want me to continue with array? Because array is a big topic. Do you want me to continue that, or can we talk about that tomorrow?
I think, complex topics have been discussed today already. And students have some questions. So especially have seen students, I'll just, one or two things I would like to mention to them. One is about, somebody has asked, why do you have to use while if there is if then else statement? What is the difference between if then else and while? So just in layman terms, I would like to mention to them what is the difference between if then else and while. So say for loop and while loop, that's the question. So for loop, say if you know already how many soups you can eat, say you can eat 5 soups, you can say for I is equal to 1 to 5, eat soup. So you know 5 soups you want to eat. So that is when you use for loop. For while loop, you don't know how many soups you can eat, but you still like the soups. So you can say for until I'm full, eat. That while hungry, eat. You will say while hungry, eat. So when you are full, it will go out. So you don't know when you are full. For loop, you know when you are full. So for loop, you will say for I is equal to 1 to 5, eat soup. 5 times you will eat. But while loop, you don't know. when you will be full. So you will say, while I am hungry, eat. So that is the difference between for loop and while loop. For loop, you know how many times. While loop, you don't know how many times. So you give a condition. So if when this condition is true, then you complete this while loop. Otherwise, go out of the while loop. That's what you say. That is why you have
I just want
two
to
kinds.
add one more point because I have clearly mentioned. When you know termination point, then we use for loop. When we don't know for termination point, we use while. So if you know till when the termination has to be, when you know that what is the termination value, then till then, for that places we use for loop. When we don't know the termination value, we use while loop. Just extension of what Anuradha has told.
And other question also was there. Why do you use switch and case when you have if then else? So that is also, I mean, like it is a programmer's choice. If then else is a continuous loop. So if X, then do this, then or else if, then do this, else you do this. So it is it's a continuous loop. But it becomes very easy when you say case, switch and case. So for example, and switch also accepts the input then and there. You have to give an input then and there. So when you say it is morning, you will say eat breakfast. Afternoon, eat lunch. Evening, eat snacks. Night, eat dinner. Like that, you have different case statements. It is very easy for the computer to go to the case and execute that. For computer, it becomes very easy to go to the case statement. So if then else is a continuous loop. However, mostly used in the industry is if then else. Very few people use case statement. Swaroop can add anything to that actually.
So usually it is a choice of a programmer. So what exactly he wants to use. It is nothing but whether you want a big one type of, see, some people use spoon to eat noodles. Some people use fork to use noodles, right? It depends upon the habit and how exactly you are convenient with the tool. So switch cases and if else cases are nothing but the tools which are given by the C programmer to execute certain conditions. If you are very much familiar with switch cases, you can do it. But switch cases only handles the numerical values 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time you have to give case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, all these things till. So the input value will be always a integer value. Okay, and it is a runtime. Even in the runtime, if you want to check the condition, then we use switch conditions. Otherwise, we use basically the if conditions. So,
all right, Swaroop, thank you. I would like you to explain arrays tomorrow because it is a heavy topic and already have covered quite a few in today's session. So there are a lot of for loop exercises and if then else exercises that you can execute. The more you do, the better. So the exercises will be loaded. There are also questions asked in the chat, when will be the exercises loaded? We will be loading the exercises tomorrow morning, and tomorrow evening you will be getting mailer about all the questions that are loaded. It is easy for you to execute. If you have any execution troubles, tomorrow 2 or 3 examples we will execute online. Sir will execute online and show to you. But few of those exercises involving for loop, while loop, and if then else will be loaded into the system tomorrow morning. Okay, if there are any other questions, let me have a Okay, give just a minute. Sir is posting the attendance link. Yes, yeah. This is very important for students who haven't got login. So be online just a minute. Okay, guys, material and everything, every day you join newly and ask me. So all the material will be posted in the system. Once you log in, you will be able to see that. Okay, the form is posted, guys. Please fill it, especially students who haven't got, please fill it today. And all others, tomorrow you'll be ready to do the exercises, okay? Thank you and have a good evening, guys. Thanks.